I wanted to talk about our sensitivity and our awareness, and maybe the parts of it that we don't recognize as actually being our awareness, as in maybe the things we miss, the things we take for granted, and also about our self-care within our mediumship, our sensitivity, our awareness. Because um, we can't continually work without giving ourselves some TLC. We become tired, we become restless, sometimes you get a bit of brain fog. There's lots of ways that you can actually wear yourself out, just as there are in any other field of work. You can only, if you're a gardener, for instance, you can only dig so much and mow so much and cut so much until you say, I need a day off. I need not to do anything today, or I need to go and soak my aching bones and muscles. Well, it's the same for us as mediums. Excuse me, my wonderful little doggy has just decided he wants to join us after refusing to join us a little while ago. So you're in there. One of these days, these lives will be absolutely flawless, and then you'll all wonder what happened to Audrey and who cloned her. Because it doesn't look like I'm destined to not be interfered with by the dog at some point. But there we go. Blessing is lovely, really. But, as I was saying, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to be aware of our emotional, mental and physical needs as much as we need to be of service. Yes, being of service is extremely important, but then again, so are you. You're extremely important, because if you wear yourself out, then you're not serving spirit, you're not serving your community that come to you, and you're not serving yourself. So there is a need to just kick back a bit. Don't take it all so serious. Have fun with your development. And be aware of stuff that maybe you've not noticed before. For instance, do you ever get a sudden taste for food? As in, you say like, oh, I could just eat a bowl of stew, or I could just eat a chili, or whatever. Is that coming from you? Or is there somebody in the spirit world that's prompting you with their memory of eating that with you, or it being their favourite food? That is an awareness. Although we brush it off as just having a fancy for something, it is very possible that there is a spirit communicator who really liked that food, or was known, it was their signature dish, grandma's apple pie, or rice pudding in a white enamel dish with a big thick skin on the top. That's what we're thinking about here. So although we might think we've just got a fancy for something, have we really? Or are we being inspired? When you feel that you want to take a different route to work than the one you normally take, is it perhaps that you've been inspired not to go your normal route? How many of you have changed your route one morning only to find you would have been backed up in traffic, there was something holding everybody up, there was some sort of an incident, or by taking the route you took, you bumped into somebody you haven't seen in ages and you needed to catch up and it was wonderful? How many times have you done that? That's your intuition. That is your awareness coming into play. And if we're clever, we follow it. But most of the time we shrug it off as just, oh, don't be stupid, get in the car and go, or catch that bus, or whatever. I haven't got time to be roaming around the street, having a different walk and a different view. It could be that on that other journey, the alternative journey, that there's something you need to see. There's something you need to be aware of. If you're house hunting, for instance, even if it isn't where you really thought of being, but you feel you need to go and look, then go and look, because there is obviously something you need to see that will help you make your mind up, maybe about where you want to be. All of these things are really, really important, and they are as important as it would be if you connected with that information for your clients, for your sitters. You are just as important. And Spirit will walk with us and support us. They won't do it for us, but you know, after 65 million hints, 16 angels, and numerous consecutive numbers, if you're still not listening, they're going to give up. Because who wouldn't? You know, how many times do we need a sign? How many times do we need to be made aware, yet again, that they're trying to help us? And how many times do we shrug it off as not being our intuition? And why do we do that? Well, I feel one of the reasons is because we're not sitting and preparing to work. So because we're not preparing to work, we don't expect signs and symbols and signals. We don't expect it, but why shouldn't we? We're part of this natural world. We're part of this wonderful energy of everything just being in motion. Everything is there if we are only but aware of it. And I think sometimes the problem is that we look too far. So we don't just want a nudge so that we can go and see what we need to see. We want somebody to take us by the hand and draw us a map. Well, do you know what? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work for any of us in that sense. But if you were talking to a client, say, about a situation that was coming up in their life where they were going to be somewhere or meet a certain person or whatever, chances are you would pick up on something to tell them that would let them know when this situation comes into play, this is where you need to be looking. So why don't you sit and do that for yourself? Why don't we accept that we are as important as anybody else? Yes, we are here to do our work, and yes, it needs to be done with humility. But sometimes that humility becomes too much, and we forget that we are actually human. You know, we're expected to behave in a certain way, and we're expected to do this and that and that and that, and you know what? We're still human. Why shouldn't we ask for help? Why shouldn't we say that today is the day I can't do it? I need time out. You know, I've learned a lot of lessons in the last year since I had the surgery that didn't go according to plan. And I've learned one very valuable lesson. If I don't look after me, nobody else can. They can urge you to. They can, you know, make your coffees, make your meals, blah, de, blah, de, blah. But I have to look after me in here and in here. Emotionally, intuitively, and mentally, I am responsible for my health. I am responsible for my attitude, and I'm responsible how I deal with things. Nobody else can do that for us. They can talk with us, they can listen to us, and they can give us a hug when they're able to, but they can't do it for you. They can't clear your mind. They can't calm your emotions or lift your disappointments. All they can say is, I am here when you need me. Not if you need me, but when you need me. Because do you know what? It's very hard sometimes to ask for help. In anything that we're doing, it's very hard to ask for help. And some people who have been so independent and always done things themselves find it very, very difficult to accept that they need help with things. because they've always shown everybody how well they do without them. And so it's easier then not to look and see that you actually need help, which is why they don't offer. So instead of saying to somebody, I'm here if you need me, maybe the status should be, I am here when you need me. Let's take a walk in the grass. Let's do some grounding. You know, sit outside in your garden if you have one. Put your feet on the ground. Reconnect with the earth. Reconnect to that grounding and balancing. Because if we're not grounded, we are not working with our energy properly. And that is really, really important. So let's look at the ways that we can do self-care. Well, you know, in the morning, when you get up and you go in your shower, and that water's coming down to cleanse and refresh you. Imagine also, or create the thought that there is white light coming down through that water, cleansing and healing your energy field. Quick and easy, do it while you're in the shower. Quick and easy, you don't have to take any extra time off. If you want to and you have time, then sit and do yourself a meditation. Now, I tend to use music when I meditate because, to be quite honest with you, I have sleep apnea. And if I sit in the silence, I'm likely to fall asleep. Simple as. It won't be silent for anybody else when I do it, but I'll be fast asleep. So I use music because that gives me something to carry my energy on, as it were. That gives me something to follow, something to focus. Because if I don't focus, I'm going to go to sleep. That's it. So you could do that. If you want to go do that before you go out to work, then make it upbeat and a little bit uplifting. If it's evening time and it's the end of your day, then make it one that's restful and peaceful. Choose your time and choose how you want to work. Switch your phone off. Tell everybody you need 10, 15 minutes if you live with other people. If not, fair enough. Settle your animals. Don't have them bursting through the door like I just did. Just prepare your space. Light a candle. If you like them, you don't have to if you don't. Some people don't like candles burning. Put your crystals around you if you like crystals, and go with whatever crystal it is that you're drawn to. It's so simple to take more care of ourselves. Far more simple than we realise. It isn't about going out to a meeting with others. A lot of our self-care and a lot of being aware is in our everyday lives. It's not a separate time. It's there. Learn to recognise the signs. How many of you at some point have picked up a feather that's just floated down in front of you? Now you know and I know, birds are up in the sky all of the time. So of course we are going to see feathers falling down. But how many times does it happen when you have something on your mind and you're mulling it through and asking for a bit of help, and then suddenly there comes a feather? Well, is it a coincidence? I don't really believe in coincidences. I believe that things happen for a reason. And it's up to us whether we listen to it, acknowledge it and respect it, or we don't. But I don't think anything is ever really a coincidence, and that is my thought. You can think differently if that's what you want. But I feel that in everything that we call a coincidence, you can find a reason for that happening. Or you will see a reason for that happening. So think about those things. And one of the most important things, and I'm sure some of you do it already, is keep a journal. Keep a journal of the things that you sense around you. Keep a journal of the thoughts that you get during your meditations, because you will find there's information there that help you see how you perceive and use the information that comes. So you will make your own little encyclopedia, or whatever you want to call it. But I feel it's really important to keep notes, because if nothing else, you will see how you have grown. You will see how your growth came. You will see how well you develop over a period of time. And you will see so much information when you read back through it. I've still got things that I wrote about so many years ago that it's a little bit faded now. So, but it's always interesting to read back on where you were. You can see where you were in that time. You can see which pathway it was opening up in front of you, and so many other things. So I feel it's really, really important to document your pathway. You know, if you're letting showers of light come down on you in the shower, then document how it made you feel. Because I will pretty much guarantee it made you feel different on different days. It will not always be the same, and it shouldn't be, because we are not the same for more than a couple of seconds at a time. Our energy changes constantly. So the feelings, our awareness, our sensitivity, all changes all of the time. It's constantly evolving, moving, expanding, drawing back in. We do it all the time. And if you're interested in something, in a conversation, you're automatically going to put your energy forward, because that person has engaged you. And so you lean in because you want to listen. You lean in because you're interested and you want to know more. And in that moment, you've made that connection. You've made that decision to let that spark of light grow a little bit more. It's piqued your interest. And interest and intuition go the same way, in my experience. So I'm going to leave you with those thoughts today. So get yourself a book or some pieces of paper. Get yourself a time, and just create some time to do things for you, things that make you more aware. Sit in your living room or your bedroom or wherever and see how the energy makes you feel. See how the colours make you feel any given day. And I'll bet 10 to a dozen that it will change and it will evolve and it will grow as it should. So I'm going to wish you well, and I'm going to say have an excellent week. Be kind to yourselves as much as you would be to other people. And I will say bye-bye for now, and I will see you soon.